I've been kicked out of the house. Can you let me stay just for tonight? What? You were kicked out? Grandpa, come live with us. Really? Are you sure? My father-in-law had been treated terribly by his son and daughter-in-law and was finally kicked out of their house. We decided to have him live with us in our family-run sushi restaurant. I'm Emma, 40 years old, and my husband Ethan is 2 years older. We were high school sweethearts but separated when we started working. I thought it was over between us, but Ethan returned to our hometown a few years later and proposed, saying he wanted to be with me forever. We got married, and things have been going pretty well. Our daughter Lily is in the 3rd grade, and we're a close-knit family of 3. We run a sushi restaurant together, Ethan's lifelong dream. However, it's not doing as well as we'd like, and we're trying to figure out how to make it more successful. It's pretty good, and we do have customers, but there's nothing extraordinary about it. We'd like to try advertising on trendy social media, but we just don't have the time right now. Today we are visiting Ethan's brother and sister-in-law. To be honest, I've never really liked them. Even now, they are acting aloof. When Ethan offered them some sushi we brought as a gift, his brother reacted harshly. Brother, I've included some new ingredients. Try it and let me know what you think. Hey, don't bring that stuff here. I only eat sushi from high-end restaurants. Well, you don't have to be so mean. Father-in-law can eat it. Honestly, what a way for a couple to talk. Since my mother-in-law passed away, father-in-law has been living with them, so we visit occasionally to see him. I've noticed that they treat him worse and worse each time. Ethan, Emma, thank you. I'll enjoy it later. I'll make some coffee now, father-in-law said, who had been playing with our daughter, coming over. Wait, father-in-law, that's expensive coffee for guests. Don't use it on family. Dad, don't touch anything. Mia told you not to go into the kitchen. But you two aren't even offering coffee when your younger brother's family has come over. We were just about to do it. Oh, be quiet. It's annoying enough having you here every day. We don't eat coffee. Instead, please try the sushi. I'd love to hear what you think with your refined tastes. I intervened, trying to be as gentle as possible. Emma, it must be tough running a sushi restaurant with a brother like this. You need to brush up or you'll never be successful. Brush? No use using English words. A failing sushi restaurant must be drowning in debt and on the brink of bankruptcy, his sister-in-law continued. We do have debt, but we are paying it off little by little, my husband snapped back. Ignoring my husband, she continued to me, you should have married an elite banker like me. It's sad how different the 2 brothers turned out. Exactly. If you followed my lead, you'd have a better life. A sushi restaurant from a dream since you were fishing with that. She trailed off. Both of you, stop it. Why do you keep saying such awful things? Father-in-law spoke up unusually sternly. It seemed that my brother-in-law and his wife couldn't forgive father-in-law for defending us. I never thought they would go so far. It happened that night. The doorbell rang just after 10 p.m. when our daughter was asleep. Who could it be at this hour? I'll get it, my husband said as he went to the door. Dad, what's going on? I rushed over when I heard his surprised voice. Oh, I'm sorry for coming at this hour. I've been kicked out of the house. I hate to ask so suddenly, but could you let me stay just for tonight? What? You were kicked out? He told us that after we left my brother-in-law's house, this had happened. Hey, Dad, what was that earlier? Defending Ethan and them. Well, you two were saying such terrible things. You know we are only taking care of you because we have to, right? It's a nuisance. We've been looking after you because you helped with the down payment for this condo. But isn't it enough? Yeah, we've let you live comfortably. You two felt that way. I offered to cook and clean, but you told me not to do anything. But we don't want you touching the kitchen or anything. Let's just call it quits, shall we? Why don't you go live with your beloved younger son? Yeah. We were outraged when we heard this. What? Is that unbelievable? I've been concerned about my brother and sister-in-law's attitude, but this is the worst. I felt the same way. I can't forgive them anymore. Anyway, it's late, and we have to get up early tomorrow, so let's go to bed. Father-in-law, please warm up in the shower. I'll prepare the bed in the meantime. Thank you, Emma. I'm sorry. The next morning, our daughter was surprised to see her grandfather. Grandpa, what are you doing here? Good morning, Lily. Sorry for coming so suddenly. Why, I'm happy. Let's play when I get back from school. She's been fond of her grandfather since she was a baby, and they've always been close. Mom, did something happen to Grandpa at that house? Oh well, a little. A 9-year-old girl is sharp and understands many things. He's always bullied at that house, and it's sad. Can't he live with us? What? Grandpa, come live with us. That night, our family unanimously decided to have father-in-law live with us. We had been worried about my brother-in-law and his wife looking down on father-in-law. But we couldn't forgive such terrible treatment. We had considered living with father-in-law before, but were concerned about what the family would say and couldn't bring it up. However, my husband was delighted and thanked me. We were most concerned about what our daughter would think, but she was the one who brought it up. So we were surprised. With that settled, it was time to act. My husband called his brother to report, but instead of apologizing, both my brother-in-law and his wife were thrilled. And so father-in-law became a member of our family. A few days later, father-in-law said he wanted to work at the sushi restaurant. It could be in lieu of rent. Don't worry about that. I've always loved cooking, and I actually worked at a sushi restaurant when I was young. Really? Before Ethan was born. And so father-in-law began to help out in the back of the sushi restaurant. Ethan, can I talk to you for a second? I think this fish might be better if we use kombucha. Huh? Which one? Also, could you listen to me for a moment? There are a few things I'm concerned about. Perhaps because they were father and son, father-in-law was sharing his thoughts with my husband one after another. His advice seemed spot on, and my husband agreed to change the preparation method for some of the sushi. Gradually, the number of customers began to increase. Online reviews increased, the taste improved, and the restaurant looked cleaner, receiving high praise. Sales also steadily grew. Thanks to father-in-law, our sushi restaurant was able to change for the better. Father-in-law wasn't always at the restaurant, so I felt relieved that my daughter's time alone decreased, and the two seemed to enjoy eating and reading together. But about 6 months later, an incident occurred. My brother-in-law and his wife barged in. Dad! Noah and Mia too. What's going on? We have come to take Dad back. We were so surprised when you really left, even though we were just joking. Yeah, so let's go back quickly. What? What are this couple talking about? My husband and I exchanged glances. Noah, a joke? Besides, I'm working at this sushi restaurant, so I can't go back there. That's it. Sales have increased since Dad came here. Now it's a popular restaurant that has a talent for management. Management talent? That's not it. So I'm thinking of starting a sushi restaurant too. I've quit the bank, and the store will open next week. Come back and help me. Wait a minute. You kicked father-in-law out and never contacted him. And now you want him back. That's too convenient. Yeah, brother, don't be selfish. What? You're going against me? I can pull strings to make sure this small shop doesn't get a loan from the bank. What? Is that a threat? Anyway, I could have managed better from the start. You might be doing well now, but you'll probably go downhill soon. What did you say? Calm down, Emma. Father-in-law admonished me when I raised my voice. All right, I'll go back, he said. Father-in-law? Dad. Good, our luxury condominium is better, right? Let's go, my brother-in-law snorted at us. Father-in-law looked into our eyes, nodded once, and left. They came to take Grandpa back. That's weird. They'll bully him again for sure. Our daughter, who had come home and learned what happened, was furious. She was right. After all the terrible treatment, it was unbelievable that they would demand him back now that our shop was doing well. But we endured it, thinking that if father-in-law had decided, we had to accept it. However, a month later, father-in-law appeared before us again. I'm back. Father-in-law, what happened? I got kicked out again. What? It's okay. I expected this. I knew it would happen. My husband and I listened to father-in-law's story about what he had been doing at my brother-in-law's place. It was outrageous. So father-in-law began living with us again, and our daughter was overjoyed. Of course, he also returned to work at the sushi restaurant. Even after father-in-law left, we faithfully practiced his teachings, and sales didn't drop, but it was undoubtedly tough with fewer hands. However, we managed to run the shop efficiently again, and thanks to father-in-law, we could procure fresh and rare fish, and the number of customers kept increasing. Then my brother-in-law and his wife, who had heard about our success, barged in again. They had always manipulated father-in-law for their convenience and looked down on people. I couldn't forgive them anymore. What's going on here? No, what's the matter? What do you mean, what's the matter? Our shop's customers are decreasing while there's a line here. That's because Ethan's sushi is delicious and Emma's service is good, isn't it? We're making it just as you taught us in our shop. Did you teach us a fake recipe? I didn't teach you anything fake. Then why is there such a difference? First of all, who's making the sushi? A friend I hired. We plan to succeed in a high-end sushi restaurant together. You're not telling me that person is an amateur, are you? No way, he has a chef's license. Where did he train, and for how many years? Huh? Training? Are you underestimating sushi chefs? Just having a chef's license doesn't mean you can serve sushi to others. But with that recipe, even this guy wasn't doing well until he was taught by Dad. And then he prospered. What are you talking about, brother? I trained for years to open a sushi restaurant. Even I had to study, prepare, and redo things after opening. I couldn't just serve new sushi right away. Also, you're advertising your shop as a high-end restaurant, right? I saw your website. Even if you could serve the same taste and sushi as us, no one would come if you charged double the price. Why? Even if they come once, if it's expensive and tastes amateur, they won't come again. Isn't that obvious? Hey, don't act so high and mighty. I'm more professional in management. Enough. What? Father-in-law shouted, you may have worked in a bank and know about management, but that's not enough to run a restaurant. For sushi, you need knowledge about fish, how to cut it, how to preserve freshness, and it takes years of training to make sushi. Ethan has spent years learning. But that's why I asked you to write down everything about cutting and shaping with your guidance. My brother-in-law insisted. I did write everything down. I was even planning to guide you if you were serious, but you told me to leave because I was in the way. There's no way someone who was never trained can do it just by looking at a paper, father-in-law replied firmly. Oh, then my sister-in-law chimed in, guidance? Your brother only managed because he trained himself. But father-in-law is just an amateur fish lover acting all high and mighty. Do you have that condescending attitude towards customers too? Huh, I may be an amateur now, but when I was young, before I became a salaryman, I worked at a sushi restaurant, at Sushi Jan no less. That super famous place, even the branches run by disciples who have branched off are now impossible to book at. The master chef of that main shop is now quite a celebrity, which we used to learn together. If that's true, if you worked at such a successful sushi restaurant, there's no way you would have changed jobs to become a salaryman, my sister-in-law retorted. Normally that might be the case, but your mother was frail. Raising a child while working as a sushi chef from early morning to midnight was impossible. When you were born, I changed jobs and became a regular salaryman. No, it's a lie. It's not a lie. You can even check with Sushi January. What? Indeed, the sushi restaurant where father-in-law had worked when he was young had become so famous that no one didn't know about it. Thanks to father-in-law's personality, which had maintained relationships with his old colleagues and mentors, our family was blessed with good things like getting help with fish procurement at the market and learning about rare fish. My husband and I were also surprised that father-in-law's advice was so appropriate. If that's the case, I'll fire the guy I hired. Now I should hire a sushi chef, right? Then Dad and I will make an even more prosperous shop than this one. My brother-in-law, who quickly changed his tune, was firmly told by father-in-law. I'll make it clear. I have no intention of ever going back to your place. What? Why? It's suffocating there with restrictions on what I can touch and do. Living with Ethan and the others, I realized I was stifled. I've been complained about all the time, kicked out, and then called back for your convenience. We won't kick you out anymore, father-in-law's sister-in-law said with a forced smile. Even though you don't want to live together at all, huh? My sister-in-law froze with a pasted-on smile. You just want to call me back because you think it will make money, right? My sister-in-law seemed at a loss for words as father-in-law had hit the nail on the head. As I said earlier, having a manual alone won't do. You need to take time to hone your skills and most importantly, sincerity. You two are utterly lacking in that. But Dad, I apologize for everything so far. My brother-in-law tried to cozy up to father-in-law, trying to smooth things over with mere words. They were indeed a like-minded couple. Brother, it's time to start preparing for the evening business, so please leave. Please take your leave, my husband and I said in succession. You bastards, getting all cocky. I was an elite banker. I'll make sure you don't get any loans from now on. At that moment, the shop's door opened with a clatter. I'm home. Welcome back. Wait, Lily. I was surprised to see my daughter, who usually comes home through the back to our house, appear at the shop's entrance. Was that a threat just now? My daughter looked straight at my brother-in-law and his wife. You came to the shop before and yelled and said terrible things, and before that you bullied Grandpa at home all the time. What? What are you talking about, you cheeky girl? Just like a low-level couple's daughter. Mama, Papa. My friend Hannah's dad is a police officer, so I'll consult with him. Unexpected words came out, and the three of us were surprised. What? My brother-in-law and his wife turned pale. Hannah's dad is a very important person in the police. What? Let's go. We are leaving, brother. It was my innocent daughter's voice that was the last straw. My brother-in-law and his wife scrambled and ran out. Welcome back, Lily. Wow, that was a surprise. Thank you for helping us. Father-in-law looked at our daughter with surprise and tenderness. Sure that Hannah's dad is a police officer. Whether he is important or not, I don't know. I was left speechless by our daughter's nonchalant response. My husband, father-in-law, and I looked at each other and then burst into laughter. After that, my brother-in-law's shop closed down within 6 months. He had said that he quit his job and started the shop with determination, but the reality was slightly different. He had blamed his own mistake on a subordinate, and when it was discovered, he was demoted. Unhappy with the demotion, he quit the bank in a fit of anger. So even when the shop's management didn't go well, there was no one to help him, and he ended up with a massive debt. With that piling up, there was no way that couple could succeed, and they are now embroiled in a messy divorce drama. My brother-in-law seems to be job hunting, but given the way he quit, re-employment in the financial industry is tough. He has no goodwill, so there is no one to help him. On the other hand, our sushi shop has been thriving with a steady increase in customers, and we've paid off all the remaining debt. We've been featured in town magazines and on TV, and more people are sharing about us on social media, so we are busy every day. Of course, father-in-law is also helping out in the shop. I never thought I'd have such a fulfilling life at this age. Thank you so much. On our day off, as we were all eating cake, father-in-law said this with gratitude. We are the ones who should be thanking you. That's right, not just the shop, but even at home, we feel at ease and are helped because father-in-law is here. Thank you for loving Lily as well. Grandpa, let's play Othello. I won't lose today. Our daughter, who finished her cake first, called father-in-law from the living room. There will surely be more challenges ahead. The shop may face difficulties, and living together, we may get on each other's nerves at times. Life is long with its ups and downs. At such times, we'll look at each other and talk it out. If we share what we're all thinking, we'll surely overcome anything. Watching the smiles of our daughter and father-in-law, my husband,